Hello and welcome to our Nigerian viewers and viewers around the world. This is Galaxy TV News. Let's get things started. President Muhammadu Buhari assures Nigerians of completion of second Niger Bridge, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, another key project across the country. Plus, Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark International Day of the Girl Child. And outside Nigeria, more than 1.76 million people have been affected by severe flooding in China's northern Shanxi province. Those are our top stories. We have details in just a moment. And now, wherever you're watching from around the world, we are live from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. On our first story tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja on Monday assured Nigerians that the 11.9-kilometer second Niger Bridge, 120-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, another key project under the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF, will be completed within the second term of his administration. The president gave the assurance at the opening of a two-day mid-term ministerial performance review retreat organized to assess progress made towards the achievement of the 9 key priorities of this administration. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said the retreat was to appraise efforts of MDAs at achieving federal government objectives. Other key speakers at the event include President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, and Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo.
Transportation, we are growing the stock and quality of our roads, rail, air, and water transport infrastructure. The Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund projects are also advancing remarkably. These include the 11.9-kilometer second Niger Bridge, 120-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, 375 kilometers Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano Expressway, and the East-West Road. Most of these projects are expected to be completed within the second term of our administration. Furthermore, we have made tremendous progress on railway projects in the country. Upgrading of our railway network is being extended with the recent completion of the Lagos-Ibadan line. The Itape-Ajaokuta rail line has finally been completed and commissioned after 30 years of its conception. Work is expected to commence very soon on the Port Harcourt, Maiduguri line and Calabar-Lagos coastal line to connect the southern and eastern states of our country. Progress is also being made on the upgrading of our airports with the state-of-the-art facilities in line with world-class safety standards. On the economy, we witnessed 3 consecutive quarters of growth after negative growth rates recorded in the second and third quarters of 2020. The GDP grew from 0.8% in 2017 to 2.2% in 2019, but declined in the first quarter of 2020 as a result of the downward trend in global economic activities triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. As at second quarter of 2021, GDP growth rate was 85.01%, the highest since the inception of this administration. On the power sector, implementation of a willing buyer, willing seller policy has opened up opportunities for increased delivery of electricity to underserved homes and industries.
And transparency for the delivery of services to citizens. Key focus of this midterm ministerial retreat is to review the status of progress towards the delivery of 9 priority areas. This is intended to harness our collective contributions towards generating practicable solutions that will guarantee the level of impact we can be proud of by the end of our tenure. The retreat also aims to deepen collaboration and enhance cohesion among cabinet members for efficient and effective service delivery.
And just a quick look at future perspectives and funding. With respect to full implementation of the plan, we have seen, of course, that inadequate funding has in some ways hampered what could have obviously been a much, much better performance. Our 500 billion, which was budgeted for and which we took from special accounts, was essentially the major part of the 2.3 trillion program, the major part of it. Of course, CBN interventions also were very helpful, but I want to just point out that the 1.2 trillion, which is supposed to be structured loans, were still very far behind, and that's a significant part of the plan. So that has greatly affected what would have been an even better outcome.
Will power Nigeria's economy now and well into the future. We must move away from the so-called youth empowerment programs. The youth do not need handouts. They need investments. I would therefore like to commend you, Mr. President, for your decision to establish the Youth Investment Fund.
Let's shift our focus now to party politics as the All Progressive Congress, APC, has inaugurated the National Reconciliation Committee to resolve emerging misunderstandings and differences which might arise from the outcome of the Congress's. Inaugurating members of the committee, the National Chairman, APC, Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, May Nabuni, said members of the committee were carefully selected based on their individual track records of excellence under the chairmanship of a veteran Democrat, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the former governor of Nasarawa State. Nabuni disclosed that the task before the committee is very important and crucial, as the committee is also expected to resolve real or seeming differences and to cement all cracks for the party to approach the national convention with a united front.
Appropriate engagement between identified groups in each state where there are disputes, with a view to bringing about genuine reconciliation and establishing lasting peace and unity in the party. 2, to consult with party leaders and concerned members as the committee deems necessary with a view to achieving peace therein. 3, submit a report to the National Chairman Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee. Your report on resolution of these discrepancies will indicate our readiness as a united and strong family for the National Convention. Your assignment, therefore, has great impact and influence on the convention.
Chairman of the committee, Senator Adamu, appreciated the National Caretaker Committee for giving them the opportunity to serve.
I've seen are positivists. We believe we will be able to accomplish the responsibilities bestowed on the mandate given us today. We will, as may be appropriate, consult with leader Jagaba Ashwaju. We will consult with the first national chairman of our great party.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's take a breather. We'll be back in just a moment with more stories. Please join us again. You're welcome back. You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's stay with party politics for a moment as former governor of Ekiti State, Segun Oni, has returned his expression of interest and nomination forms for Ekiti State 2022 gubernatorial elections to the PDP national headquarters in Abuja. The former governor, who thronged the party headquarters with his supporters, asked the party to bring members together for the common good of the country. He said he improved agriculture as a means of boosting the economy of Nigeria.
We take it very seriously because it signifies, in sincere terms, the readiness of the aspirant to get into the field and who support us by marketing himself and ingratiating himself with the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate within the party to see if they will buy in or not.
Receiving the forms on behalf of the party leadership, National Organizing Secretary Austin Akobundu said the PDP takes the process of submission very seriously because it signifies in sincere terms the readiness of the aspirant to get into the field and will support us by marketing himself.
Going to start where we left, but we'll take the state further down to a new terrain where we will be able to add value, much more value to the lives of the people. We believe that Ekiti State must be creative. Ekiti State must be innovative. Ekiti State must bring to the table.
The Ekiti State gubernatorial elections is scheduled to take place by October 16, 2022. Now, away from party politics. Government at all levels have been advised to create digital space for the girl child in order to empower them and contribute positively to the economy. A cross-section of women professionals who spoke at a symposium organized by Zonta International to mark the International Day of the Girl Child in Oyo State said the gap between girls and boys in terms of digital space was so wide and should be bridged for girls to realize their ambitions. Correspondent Kunlojo reports that speakers maintain that while giving girls access to digital space, they should also be taught about cybersecurity so that they could be protected from fraudulent people.
And if we don't call the attention of the public stakeholders in education to the need for our girls to have access to the digital devices and learn in the digital way, then we may not be helping them. So, one of the things we have done here in Zonta for me, for my own biennium, which is the 2020-2021 Girls Project. STEM stands for science, technology, mathematics, and engineering.
Because the girl child generally believes once you can operate the WhatsApp, the Facebook, the Twitter, all the social media, that is actually digital. Perhaps they are right to some extent, but they actually need to use this to their advantage.
ICT will enable the acquisition of new skills and arts as a catalyst in the delivery of public services, such as education, employment, healthcare, economic and financial services.
This is Galaxy TV News. Let's take yet another break. We're live in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. On the other side, please stay with us. You're welcome back. You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's cross over live to Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where Fuluke Awoshemusi, coordinator of the Oyo State Gender and Sexual-Based Violence Response Team, joins us live on the news. Well, good to see you, Fuluke. What is your position as regards the cases of sexual abuse in the state, despite the fact that there are enabling laws to protect the girl child?
I didn't hear your question clearly, please. Can you rephrase?
All right, so the question is, what is your position as regards to the cases of sexual abuse in Oyo State, despite the fact that I understand that there are enabling laws?
Yeah, there are so many laws in Oyo State as regards sexual offenses or gender-based violence offenses in Oyo State. And as far as laws are concerned, the laws are in place. It's just the enforcement that requires the collaborative effort of everyone, including you and I, to ensure the enforcement of those laws. We have violence against persons prohibition law in Oyo State. We have sexual offenses law in Oyo State. We have violence against women's law in Oyo State. And also have our criminal code. We have all the legal framework required to enforce the fight against sexual and gender-based. But problem we have at hand is you and I, that ECOP is straight. There's need for more collaborative effort if we really want to make headway in it. If the police is doing its best, the NSC is doing its best, the judiciary is doing its best, the Ministry of Justice is doing its best. How about the community leaders? How about the religious leaders? When you have cases like this, we have interference from all angles. Even the well-meaning Nigerians, even the well-pleased men and women in the society. So we have clubs in the way of the enforcement of all these laws. And until you and I, until we are ready to say no to sexual and gender-based violence in our society, we may not really have a headway. There is therefore need for more collaborative efforts from the ministry to the police, to the society leaders, community leaders rather, religious leaders.
All right,
And
so just a moment, Foluka, because we have to let you go in just a moment.
My name is
in charge of the task force on gender and sexual-based violence in Oyo State. So we expect that you should do the enforcement, but I wonder what you think has been responsible for the upsurge or the increase in cases of GBV.
Pardon?
All right. Foluka, I understand you're in charge of the task force on gender and sexual-based violence in Oyo State, so it is naturally expected that you should be in charge of this enforcement, which you are talking about. But perhaps you could also share with us what you think is responsible for the upsurge or increase in cases of GBV.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are doing our best in terms of enforcement. I'm just telling you the clouds in the wheel of the enforcement. And that the fact that we need to collaborate to ensure further enforcement. Now, the reasons for this upsurge in the cases of gender-based violence is multifaceted. One, it may be as a result of more awareness that people are getting to know that, oh, they have to report, and they're having more confidence to report cases of gender-based violence. Obviously, in the past, the issue of silence, the culture of silence prevented a lot of people from coming before. But if you observe very well, you will discover that many people are becoming more confident to come out to speak. Then secondly, COVID-19 actually did a bad one on the society. So you discover that at that point, particularly since last year, there has been an upsurge as a result of the pandemic. Right. However, the most important one is the fact that people are reporting more, unlike before. So people are getting more aware that they can report, they have access to justice. So the fact that they know that they have access to justice is encouraging them to come out more, to report the cases. Then,
all right. I guess that's a good place to anchor our conversation. I'm afraid we have to let you go. Oyo State's Gender and Sexual-Based Violence Response Team, the coordinator of that team. Thank you so much for speaking with Galaxy TV News. We do hope that stiffer penalties or measures and collaborative efforts and enforcement will indeed put an end to GBV. But thank you most kindly for speaking with us on Galaxy TV. All right, let's shift our focus. Well, let's even stay with the International Day of the Girl Child. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the International Day, the need for an end to child marriage has once again been emphasized. The celebration of the day also reflects the successful emergence of girls and young women as a distinct cohort in development policy, programming, campaigning, and research. Galaxy's Valerie Choma has more.
The International Day of the Girl Child is an observance day declared by the United Nations on the 11th of October 2012. The observation supports more opportunity for girls and increases awareness of gender inequality faced by girls worldwide based on their gender. In Nigeria, the challenges of the girl child are numerous. It ranges from access to education, nutrition, legal rights, female genital mutilation, medical care, protection from discrimination, violence against women, and forced child marriage. Analysts call for stricter measures to end child marriage while also emphasizing the importance of educating the girl child.
At that age, at 16, she doesn't need a man. What she needs is education. What she needs is exposure. What she needs is an encouragement. What she needs is something that can project her. What she needs is a better tomorrow.
And so many. And I think it's high time there should be a law that prohibits any ill treatment of any girl child. A girl child should be given equal opportunity. The world has grown to be to a position where every human being should be treated equally.
More than 62 million girls around the world had no access to education as of 2014, according to USAID. Worldwide and collectively, girls aged 5 to 14 spend more than 160 million hours on household chores than boys of the same age do. Globally, 1 in 4 girls are married off before the age of 18. Another big area that must be brought to an end is female genital mutilation, which involves the partial or total removal of external female genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs for non-medical reasons.
A lot of children have died, have bled to death as a result of FGM. A lot of people are barren today, even as women. A lot of women don't enjoy their marriage sexually. That's why most men have to go out because they are having huge challenge with their marriage. So the effect of FGM is very numerous. A lot of people have been contracted infections as a result of female genital mutilation.
Educating girls helps reduce the rate of child marriage, disease, and helps strengthen the economy by helping girls have access to higher paying jobs, which is critical for economic growth. Valerie Chioma, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
Now in Benue State, government at all levels, parents, caregivers, social institutions and organizations have been tasked to implement documented policies towards the training and empowerment of the girl child in Nigeria. Wife of the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom and founder, Unit Spring of Life Foundation, Dr. Eunice Otom made this known on Monday in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. She said, when you train a girl child, a nation is automatically educated and trained. Dr. Otom observed that empowered women and girls are forceful agents of positive change, paving a path for girls and women to make their potentials become more visible and useful. Now, the weakness in the Nigerian financial system and regulatory deficiencies have been blamed for the annual loss of $18 billion to illicit financial flows out of Nigeria. This is as exposed by the Pandora Papers. The Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, the Nigerian chapter of the Transparency International, during a media briefing in Abuja, says the rate of illicit financial flows exposed by the Pandora Papers smacks of ineffectiveness of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to track the flow.
The system is so loose and no efforts seem to have been put in place to block leakages. We continue to lose this huge amount of money. One would like to ask, why should Central Bank of Nigeria, with all the regulatory policies and framework that we have, will allow this kind of huge money diversion getting out of Nigeria? We do not need to go and be borrowing money when already you have surplus, unfortunately diverted by wicked public office holders. So there's no need to go and plunge the country into another, miserable debt when you have enough to collect from the people that have actually took public taxpayers' money. The NAIT audit report came out to show billions of dollars that have not been remitted. Why are you always pushing us?
Now, away from corruption-related stories, today makes it exactly 1 year the nationwide #EndSARS protest started from the Lekki Toll Gate, and the Lagos Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, on Monday warned against any planned protests in the state. In reaction to this directive, legal practitioners challenged the order of the CP, noting that it is the constitutional right for citizens to protest, and by extension, security outfits should rather protect protesters than infringe on their right. However, considering the security status of the country, other means of peacefully protesting were suggested. Meanwhile, all efforts to speak with the Commissioner of Police proved abortive.
If people want to mark the anniversary, they have a right to mark the anniversary. And the court have already stated in decided cases that people's right to protest is a constitutional right that you cannot take away. Nobody can take it away. Not even the Inspector General of Police, not even the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The court have stated that the CP does not have a right to take that right given by the Constitution to citizens away. If they intend to do it, they have a right to do it. What they would do is to write the Commissioner of Police and they go. The CP's duty is not to come out on here and say that nobody should protest. No, he should be alive to his own responsibility by providing security. By providing security for those who are going to protest. If they don't know their job, they should be taught their job.
NSAS, for that happened in the past, we know there is a judicial panel that is sitting and things like that. The judicial panel that is sitting have not made any order asking that the anniversary of that exercise should not be brought into the front burner of the nation again. If the CP is convinced that the NSAS protest, no matter how peaceful it is being presented before him, is, he has his own right also to come to that very tribunal, informing the tribunal that this is what the organizers of this thing are doing while the matter is before a judicial panel. So the judicial panel will be in a position to make a pronouncement. It is decisions like this that is making people run into some maybe wrong assumptions that the government in power appears not to be a democracy. Rather than people coming out into the streets and they start shooting, and then we have corpses all over the place, it's better to find another means of doing it. There is another way people can protest. You can ask your members to sit at home, like IPOB is doing. So everybody will sit at home. It's also a peaceful protest. You can do it through another place by sensitizing things, maybe on the social media and all that, you know, to bring it to the front burner that this very thing which happened years.
And now to other stories. The recent directives from the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to stop the issuance of air operator certificate to the Nigerian Eagle Airline being midwifed by the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, AMCON, has sparked debates from key players across the aviation sector. National President of the Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, Galadima Abednego, said the constitutional role of the legislature to oversight the activities of the agency is appreciated, but only if the legislative arm of government does not dictate who the authority should give an AOC or not. Galadima said it will amount to gross political interference, counterproductive, and fall short of global best practices, thereby undermining the autonomy of the NCAA, which will have catastrophic consequences if not addressed. Galaxy's Daniel Tenimo reports that the agency called on the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to conclude on the process of issuing air operators certificates to Nigerian Eagle Airline and further underscored the need for the condition of service of its staff to be addressed with immediate action.
The contention on whether NCAA should give NG Eagle an AOC or not is very unnecessary and uncalled for. We see it clearly as an attempt to politically influence the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority's decision on what is clearly a technical process which have outline requirements and procedures that guides them in determining suitability or otherwise. For the avoidance of doubt, we clearly support AMCON initiative to float NGE rule because we believe that it will further guarantee jobs for our members and create more opportunities for the teaming unemployed pilots and aircraft maintenance engineers. We call on the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Authority to immediately conclude the process of issued AOC to NGE and grant same because information available to us shows that they have met all the requirements as stipulated by the regulation.
And now, away from the aviation sector, people all over Africa are reclaiming their access to water as a basic human right by seizing control of their water supplies from private companies. This formed the purpose of the Africa Week of Action Against Water Privatization put together by a group of civil society organizations. It is on this premise that the group called on the government to reject all forms of corporate control of water and privatization, including public-private partnerships. The executive director of the group, Akimbode Oluwafemi, emphasized that Nigerians bear the brunt of this inadequacy, with the poorest being the hardest hit, citing that in many neighborhoods, families of 6 spend more than 1,500 naira every day on water. The group used the opportunity to call on the government to fulfill their obligations to respect and protect human rights to water for all citizens by prioritizing robust public investment in the water sector.
The Nigerian government should recognize our rights to water. You know, there is a UN resolution on that, and the Nigerian government should put in more resources to revamp our water sector. That's exactly what we're saying today. Reject all those advice of the World Bank, IFC, that wants to get us into debt traps, and begin to look at our own innovative way of keeping our water under the democratic control of our people by strengthening the public water sector. Thank you.
Lagos State, unfortunately, is one of the states considering water privatization. So we want the Lagos State government to know that the march against water privatization, the resistance against water privatization, is not only restricted to Lagos. It is happening in virtually all parts of Africa today as we speak, and we are joining the action. And so we're asking the Lagos State government to drop its privatization plans and embrace instead public sector solutions. Most importantly, the public-public water partnership. That is the idea that resonates world over today. And so that's our message for today.
Thank you so much, Mr.
You know, and so the priority of the importance of water is such that the United Nations has declared it, you know, a universal right. You know, so it's not something you really have to beg for. Governments have a duty to work towards ensuring that their people have access to water. I mean, there is no compromise on that. And so we have seen what has been going on. They come up with these stories every day about, you know, public-private partnership and all that, that it works. And but if what we have seen, even with the little experiences that we have, even in Lagos, because Lagos, you know, is where we are right now. Even with the experiences we have had over the PPP, we have seen how badly run it has been.
Well, the state of the water works in Lagos is not impressive and is not encouraging. And this again has accounted for the shortage of water supply in Lagos. We have Adinyo Water Works and we have Iju Water Works. These two water works, ordinarily they should have, if they are produced to their installed capacity, it wouldn't have even served the Lagosians. Because when they established those places, it was established due to the population as at that time. Now, in between that time and now, there has been population explosion.
And now let's take you to Oyo State, where Governor Seyi Makinde has charged the newly sworn-in commissioners to double their efforts in moving the state forward. Makinde on Monday swore in 5 reappointed and new commissioner nominees confirmed by the State House of Assembly. Swearing in the commissioner-designate, Governor Makinde urged them to redouble their effort in moving the state forward, while he also charged the newly appointed commissioners to join hands with others in achieving the dreams of the present administration.
I'm sure that if you pay attention
you will see that the things that our people are asking for are not things that are beyond us. Our people yearn for growth and development. They want good roads and quality infrastructure, even as they are asking for employment opportunities and economic prosperity. Well, we know that they have been starved of these basic functions of government for many years. And yeah, that can make the task we're expected to perform seem overwhelming.
Now, in Ondo State, an Akure-based lawyer, Femi Emodamori, has challenged the leadership of the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NOLGE, to come forward with the list of governors who may have tampered with local government funds in the country. The Femi said such an allegation must be substantiated by NOLGE leadership instead of making spurious allegations. It should be recalled that the leadership of NOLGE some days ago accused governors of diverting funds for local government through joint accounts, which is affecting the development of the 774 local government areas in the country.
States could have the courage to sue the federal government for tampering with resources that should have accrued to them. Now that they know what should accrue to them, then they should take the legal action against any state government. But it appears most state local government authorities are actually, they have some kind of complicity in that arrangement too. Some will seem to have surrendered their democratic structure, their financial quote-unquote autonomy to states.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Let's switch gears for a moment and join our international decks for more stories. Join us again.
Welcome to Stories from our international news. More than 1.76 million people have been affected by severe flooding in China's northern Shanxi province, according to local media. Torrential rain last week led to houses collapsing and triggered landslides across more than 70 districts and cities in the province. Heavy rainfall is hampering rescue efforts, officials said. The flooding comes less than 3 months after extreme rains in Henan province left more than 300 dead. In neighboring Hebei province, a bus fell into a flooded river. State media said 3 people had died and 11 of the 51 on board were missing. In Shanxi, China's Meteorological Administration also told local media that heavy and prolonged rainfall and storms had hampered rescue efforts. Shanxi is also home to a number of ancient monuments which are at major risk from the severe rainfall. More than 120,000 people have been urgently transferred and resettled, and 17,000 homes have collapsed across Shanxi province, authorities told the Xinhua news agency. 4 police officers died as a result of a landslide, according to the state-run Global Times, although information about other casualties has not been released. The Shanxi flooding may have been worse than the floods in Henan earlier this year, it added. Shanxi's provincial capital, Taiyuan, saw average rainfall of around 185.6 mm last week, compared with the 25 mm it saw in October between 1981 and 2010. Shanxi is a major coal-producing province, and the government was forced to halt operations at mines and chemical factories as a result of the rain. Talks between Indian and Chinese army commanders to disengage troops from key friction areas along their border have ended in a stalemate and failed to ease a 17-month standoff that has sometimes led to deadly clashes, the two sides say. The continuing standoff means the two nations will keep troops in the forward areas of Ladakh for a second consecutive winter in dangerously freezing temperatures. India's defense ministry in a statement on Monday said it gave constructive suggestions, but the Chinese side was not agreeable and could not provide any forward-looking proposals. A statement from a Chinese military spokesperson said the Indian side sticks to unreasonable and unrealistic demands, adding difficulties to the negotiations. The Chinese statement from Senior Colonel Lang Shouhua of the Western Theater Command said China's determination to safeguard its sovereignty is unwavering, and China hopes India will not misjudge the situation. Temperatures in the forward areas in Ladakh dropped to -30 Celsius, that's -22 Fahrenheit, around January. Troops from both sides used to retreat to their traditional summer holding positions, but they have remained in place near the disputed border since the face-off started in May 2020. Still on our international news, the Indian Army says 5 of its personnel have been shot dead by suspected militants in Indian-administered Kashmir. They were killed after fighting erupted during a search operation on Monday close to the line of control which separates Indian and Pakistan-controlled Kashmir. It is said to be the deadliest attack on army forces since February. Tensions have escalated amid a wave of civilian killings by suspected rebels. Soldiers surrounded a village in the district of Poonch after a report that armed insurgents were hiding there, officials in Indian-administered Kashmir said. An officer and 4 other soldiers were killed during the search operation, which is ongoing, Army spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Devendra Anand said. Last week, 7 civilians were shot dead and 6 days in killings blamed on militants. Politicians across the region condemned the attacks. Indian security forces shot dead a suspected militant from the Resistance Front (TRF), which Indian authorities believe is backed by Pakistan and behind the recent civilian casualties. More than 400 people have been taken in for questioning in the hope of putting a stop to the recent escalation. Officials say that since India revoked nearly all of Article 370 in the Constitution, stripping Jammu and Kashmir of the autonomy it had been granted, more local young people have been drawn toward what has been a long insurgency against Indian rule. And finally, on our international news, Iraqi security forces have arrested the senior member of the ISIL, that ISIS armed group, Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi says. Sami Jassim, who was in charge of the armed group's finances and a deputy of slain leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was arrested outside of the country. Al-Kadhimi wrote on social media, quote, "While our heroes focused on securing the elections, their colleagues were conducting a complex external operation to capture Sami Jassim." He wrote on Twitter on Monday, a day after the country led a parliamentary election. He did not provide further details of the operation. Jassim's arrest is seen as a breakthrough for Baghdad. The government considers this a great achievement that he was responsible for a lot of operations in Iraq and Syria, Abdelwahid said. Jassim was detained in an identified foreign country and transported to Iraq a few days ago. Iraqi intelligence officials spoke on condition of anonymity. The U.S. State Department had previously offered a reward for information leading to the location of ISIL leaders it identified, including Jassim. In 2015, the U.S. Treasury Department designated Jassim for providing financial support or other services to the violent group. He said he supervised ISIL finance, oil and gas, antiquities, and mineral resources operations. The Iraqi government declared military victory over ISIL in December 2017, 3 years after the armed group seized large swathes of northern Iraq. And that's our international news.
And now to wrap things off, let's join the entertainment desk.
Welcome to Entertainment News. Iretiola Doyle has released a statement to distance herself from business dealing with one of her biological child. The actress' daughter, Ngozi Kachi Abimbola, the chief executive officer of Kachi Beauty, has been accused of swindling people out of their hard-earned money. Reacting, Ireti has now informed the general public that she is not in any way involved in her daughter's business dealing. She said the CEO of Kachi Beauty is one of her biological offspring, and that is the extent of the relationship. She asked those affected to reach out directly to her daughter or the appropriate authorities equipped to deal with such issues. Facebook will be introducing several features, including prompting teens to take a break from using its photo sharing app Instagram and nudging teens if they are repeatedly looking at the same content that's not conducive to their well-being. A Facebook executive said Sunday, October 10, that the company would introduce new measures on its app to prompt teens away from harmful content, as US lawmakers scrutinize how Facebook and subsidiaries like Instagram affect young people's mental health. Nick Clegg, Facebook Vice President of Global Affairs, added that they will be introducing something called Take a Break, where they will be prompting teens to just simply take a break from using Instagram. Superstar singer Adekunle Gold has disclosed he now likes most of the things he used to criticize. The singer, who disclosed this via tweet he shared, said he criticized those things because he was broke at that time. Ellen Paul has disclosed to her followers that she was involved in a car accident in Abuja a while back. The actress explained that she suffered a concussion as a result and had to wear dark sunglasses. She said some people interpreted it as pride on her part because she refused to remove the sunglasses when taking photos with them. She went on to tell her followers that things aren't always as they seem and many people are hiding a lot. But a lot of Nigerians seem not to buy her story, reacting that what sort of car accidents affect the eyes alone, leaving the rest of the body intact. Nigerian music superstar Wizkid has finally reunited with his elder sister Yetunde Awoniyi, popularly known as YTC, on Instagram 2 years of meeting. The music star had his high-profile concert in Austin in the United States on October 10, 2021, where he delivered it from his wave-making album Made in Lagos. After the concert, Wizkid met backstage with his sister and they shared lovely moments together once again. The biological siblings from the same mother and father shared a lovely hug and smiled upon meeting again. April Shower movie shares multiple award-winning actors like Linen Osoro, Enyiwe Ngwe, Kunle Remi, Gbenga, Bibi Naija Shine Your Eye finalists Pere Ebi, among others. The producer Sandra Brumode, whose goal is to redefine the African cinemas through making films that talks about the struggle and challenges African women go through every day to achieve their dreams. April Showers is a story of a rich, influential, self-made entrepreneur who realized at the age of 40 that she had gotten everything she wanted in life except one thing. And that's all for entertainment news.
And the entertainment news does it for us. But for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. You can follow or interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. If you have breaking news around you, you can avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. Simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818 666 669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment. And that's your Galaxy TV News at this time. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, thank you so much for your company. We urge you to please keep safe. I am Kelly Egiga, and I will see you again next time. Bye.